Hello, and on behalf of Elephant Artist Relief Society, also known as EAR, and the EAR leadership team, I'd like to officially welcome you to tonight's Umbrella Talk. My name is Marianne Elder, EAR's administrative manager and member of EAR's programming committee. For tonight's Umbrella Talk, we welcome Wendy Lumby. But first, I'd like to begin tonight's event in the spirit of respect, reciprocity, and truth by honoring and acknowledging Mohkinstsis and the traditional Treaty 7 territory and the oral practices of the Blackfoot Confederacy, including the Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, as well as the Iahe, Nakota, and Tsuut'ina nations. EAR acknowledges that this territory is also cherished by the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3, within the historical Northwest Métis homeland. We celebrate all nations, Indigenous and non, who honor this land. We are grateful to engage in an honest and eager process of reconciliation. We are all treaty people. Tonight's event is part of EAR's ongoing series called Umbrella Talks, which offer presentations for artists of all disciplines. And first, a little bit about EAR. Elephant Artist Relief Society is a registered charity that provides practical resources to artists of all disciplines in Calgary and the surrounding area to help sustain their well-being and livelihood. This year, EAR celebrates 18 years of service to the arts community. EAR provides emergency financial relief funding to artists who are experiencing a medical or financial crisis, professional development workshops such as this one, a twice monthly, or actually now it's an end of month, once monthly online artist meetup called Studio E. It is a group on Facebook as well that posts a lot of jobs and opportunities. A wide variety of community resource information is also on our website, and we also offer access to group health insurance benefits for all artists of all disciplines. As a charitable organization, we rely on grants, but also largely on donors, memberships, and fundraising to do much of what we do, including what we're doing tonight. The whole reason it's free is because we put all of our operating funds into providing these programs for you. You can help us by raising awareness about EAR, and if you can, please consider becoming a member or donating online. 100% of every donation is allocated to providing emergency relief funds to artists in times of crisis. So there's just a couple last bits of housekeeping. Throughout the presentation, we ask that you keep your mics on mute and your video off so there's minimal background interference. Please feel free to use the chat function to write your questions as they come up, and we will answer them in the question and answer portion of the evening. There will be a Q&A portion after the presentation. When we get there, we'll drop a link in the chat to a feedback form for you to fill out. We really appreciate any time you can devote to filling out the questionnaire because your feedback helps us plan future programming that is responsive to your wants and needs. After the presentation, there will be a quick 5-minute break in which we're going to post that feedback link and that you can ruminate about the questions you want to ask and post them in the chat. And when we begin again, our presenter will answer all of your questions. And we'll address as many of your questions as we can until we end tonight at 9 p.m. So now I would like to introduce Wendy Lumby. Wendy Lumby, owner and operator of Faces of Wendy, has earned a reputation for her ability to deliver to her clients exactly what she says she will. As an Olympian, Wendy knows hard work, sharp focus, and a drive to succeed, all essential skills that she has transferred to her agency. Wendy is a proud member of the Aboriginal community, and Wendy's roster is known for its strong Indigenous component. Her integrity does not go unnoticed as she is one of the busiest agencies in Alberta. Since 2014, Wendy has worked with a diverse group of talented individuals, connecting them with opportunities in movies, TV shows, and commercials. Constant and open communication with her clients has been a key in the success of Faces of Wendy. Wendy focuses on providing clients with all the tools, resources, and personalized attention they need to succeed in this industry. Welcome, Wendy.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm so glad that you guys are able to join us tonight. Thank you for coming out and hearing what I have to say. And hopefully you guys can take away something about the entertainment industry that might fit your needs or perhaps put a little spark in your eye to come out and have some fun. So many people ask how I got started in the industry, and it was kind of a fluke. I was working only in the winters, and I was kind of walking along the road, and there was no open casting call. I decided to go in and check it out. We do have some casting calls that are open, and some are scams, and some are not. This was a legitimate one. So I went in, met the casting director. She liked my look for the show, booked me from the show, and off I went. And that was my foray into starting background acting. So I had a lot of fun doing that. And she had suggested that if I were to move forward in the industry, that I should probably get myself an agent. Unfortunately, she didn't quite give me enough information. So I made the number one mistake that everyone else makes is I Googled talent agencies. So up popped some talent agencies. I don't know one from the other, but in my brain, I'm like, you know what? They're advertising, they must be legitimate. Unfortunately, it's the complete opposite way around. So I ended up having to pay fees to join. They wanted me to take professional headshots. They wanted me to take acting classes. I didn't have the desire to go that far in acting. I was doing it just for fun and a little side income in addition to my other job that I had. So I kind of didn't like the way they kept pushing me to do these things. And, you know, finally I'm like, after trying to collect payment from a couple jobs I never got paid for, but I finally did get the payment for the one job that they still owed me. And I thought to myself, you know what? I can do a way better job than this guy. And so before I shut the door to the office building, by the time I got to my own car door 20 feet away and sat down, I'm like, I'm starting my own business. And so what happened is I phoned one of the casting directors that I had a relationship with. And I said, guess what? I started my own agency. And she said, what's it called? And I said, I have no idea. She goes, who cares? I need 10 people tomorrow on Heartland. So I started phoning friends and family. And that is really how my agency started, is by me not getting treated fairly, in my opinion, from an agent. And I just thought, you know what? I can transfer my skills as an athlete into this new career of mine that I didn't know how it would take off, but it did. So I'm quite proud of being a single mom with two little kids, trying to get a second income in there to make a life for my family. And starting Faces of Wendy is the way to go. And what's interesting is the same the same casting director who booked my first people on the first show, the next day she said, so did you come up with a name yet? And I go, no, I can't think of a name. And she goes, well, I can't wait to see all those faces of Wendy. And I went, boom, that is it. So that is how my name came to be. And I like having that title with my agency name because it associates to me as a person. I'm not an object. I'm not a thing. I'm not a building. I'm not this or that. I'm a person. So I like the familial feeling of my clients when they're out on set and they say, hey, what agency are you with? And they can go, I'm with Wendy, a person. And I really like that family feeling. So I'm always happy when people are out on set and they say they're with me. I appreciate that to all my clients. So I feel that the way it goes for most people is, unfortunately, when they start out, they do what I did. And that was the wrong thing to do, was by Googling agencies. So to get going, you need some knowledge on what to be careful for, what to look out for when you are trying to find yourself an agent. So the way it works is, like I said, I made the mistake of Googling and I found one and I called it because they were advertising. As I said earlier, we're not allowed to actually advertise. We're allowed to have a website, of course, a Facebook and an Instagram. And we are never allowed to use the words, if you want to join in the fun, if you want to get out on set, come join my agency. Those are words we're not allowed to ever say. We can present with, hey, be careful when looking for an agent, et cetera, et cetera. We can give some information, but we can never say, come join my agency. That's called recruiting, and we're not allowed to do that. So the way an agency works is all by word of mouth. So it's people going out on set, hearing about a specific agency, hearing their work ethic, knowing that they pay their clients on time, knowing they communicate quickly. That is the best way that we are allowed to advertise. So you'll never see a Faces of Wendy on Kijiji or an Instagram post trying to recruit people to come join. We're not allowed to do that. So if you guys are Googling, you just got to be very wary of who you're actually talking to. go on different groups, say on Facebook, for example. Who do you recommend as an agent? And you'll get some feedback. They'll say, this agent's great because, or watch out for this one, you might not get paid. But the way to know that you're always with a legitimate agency is there's something called ACTRA. That's an acronym, and it stands for Alliance of the Canadian Cinema, Television, Radio, and Artists. So ACTRA. They are the governing body of all talent agencies in Canada. No matter what province you live in, every agency has to follow rules and regulations and guidelines. If we fault on any of those, then we get kicked off the ACTRA websites and we don't get used because we're not in good reputation. So every province, I think except for BC, has a list of ACTRA reputable agencies that ACTRA recommends. BC just has so many. I don't think their website could actually hold the number of different talent agents that they have there. But certainly Alberta has one, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, et cetera, all along. So the way to cross-reference, if you are looking for an agency, if you're Googling talent agents in Alberta, for example, you're going to see some agencies. Some might look really good and you go, wow, they look really good. But if you cross-reference, you got to make sure they're on that ACTRA Alberta website as well. Otherwise, chances are incredibly high that they're not doing something quite above board, and that is why they're not on the ACTRA Alberta website. Some of those things might be involving to pay a fee to join. You should never pay a fee to join an agency. Some things are you might have to pay to get your photo on a website. That is also not a thing. The standard industry rate for an agent in Canada is 15% plus GST on the agency amount only. So if you are doing your research and you do see some agencies who are charging 20% or a monthly fee for a website, be very careful because they're probably not on the ACTRA Alberta website or whatever province you are with. We're not allowed to charge monthly fees of any kind either. So an agent has to work very hard to earn that standard rate of 15% from whatever the production is. If it's a movie or a TV show or a commercial or a photo shoot or a voiceover, whatever the project is, they can only earn the standard rate of 15%. So like I said, we do have to follow specific rules and regulations and guidelines or we get in trouble. So obviously I'm still on the ACTRA Alberta website, so I'm doing pretty good. So just again, to repeat that, if you are Googling, please make sure if you do find an agent, that agent is also on whatever province you're in, except for BC, on their website specific that lists all of the agencies, okay? So another part of what we're doing is, what does an agent look for when they're trying to find talent? So one of the main things is good communication. We share opportunities, at least my agency, that's how I work. I choose to share the opportunities with my clients on a daily basis. So it's constantly moving and evolving with all the different opportunities that we do have. So for example, if I share an opportunity for a specific show, I'm looking for a specific demographic. That casting director will give me that specific demographic, and I will try to find those people that fit that specific thing that they're looking for. So what we need when we're looking for new clients to come out and have some fun on set is, of course, you got to have fun. Sometimes it's not the great conditions, it's not perfectly cooled, or it might be too hot or something. It's 12 hours on set possibly. You got to be able to just relax, go with it. You got to have an easygoing personality and roll with whatever comes at you. They might say, okay, everyone break for lunch. You go and sit down. They go, just kidding, get back out again. And then you go and do a scene, and then you might come back in for lunch. So you got to be able to adapt very quickly to different situations. So another thing is, when we do share the opportunities, like I said, we need our clients to reply quickly to whatever it is we share. We submit our clients as soon as we can. That betters our chances of getting you guys selected when you reply quickly to they're called breakdowns, our opportunities. So keys are to be getting selected is to always have a photo that matches the role. We do not need professional photos. Some people might push you towards them. We don't really need them in actuality. Phones take really nice pictures against a blank wall nowadays. So you can take really nice pictures, and it's what you're wearing that helps sell you for the roles. So while you might go out and blow $500 on professional headshots, what you're wearing might not sell you for that specific role. But we can certainly use those pictures if it matches that demographic. The other issue that we have with some of the professional photos is, of course, all the touch-ups. And we need people to be real. So we try to avoid some of the professional photos where the hair is all done, the makeup, the lighting, the touch-ups, etc. They really want real people. So don't worry about going through the expense of having to get professional headshots. Another thing that we're running into a lot now is people are doing AI on their photos. And we really don't want people to do that. Yeah, they look younger, and then they show up to set and they're like, who's that guy? So we really try to get you guys not to do it. You might think you look good, etc. Except when you go to do the shoot and you show up and you don't look 20 years old, me as the agent, I get in trouble and you guys get sent home. So it's not a good look to play with that AI. I know it's very tempting and lots of people do it, but it's not doing anybody any favors, especially your agent, when I'm trying to present a true person to a casting director. So please try to avoid the AI and just simply stand against a blank wall wearing something that's gonna help get you out on set. One of the things that we always need you guys to do is get yourself to set. It is not my job to get you guys to set. It adds extra stress. And if you guys cancel last minute, then now I'm in trouble from the casting director. There's no way I can replace you. And now I'm out money. And it falls downhill. Everything goes downhill. So you're going to get in trouble from me, but that casting director is going to get in trouble because now there's short people on set. So it's not about, oh, I'm just a background actor. They won't notice if I'm not there. Yes, they will. And yes, they do. And everything rolls. So they get in trouble from production. I get in trouble from the casting director. You're going to get in trouble from me. And now I have to be able to trust you. Is he going to be able to get out to set again? Is he reliable? Uh-oh, he bailed on me before. Now what's going to happen? So you got to be very careful. When you commit to going out to set, you got to go, no matter how you can get there. We understand if there's situations, let's say you blow a tire and you're running late, you call your agent and let them know, hey, I'm running late. We let the production know, no big deal. If you decide to just bail on the day, that's really bad. And you probably won't be with that agent at all after that, because you make them look bad as well as yourself. And no one's going to hire you if you bail, especially on a consistent basis. So you have to be very strong in being able to set. Like I said, it adds extra stress when agents are already so busy trying to find a ride for.
Wendy, you accidentally got muted.
I don't know how I did that. I didn't touch anything. Do you guys know where I left off? Was it with the AI pictures or was it after that?
It was after that. It was about getting to set and not to get you in trouble.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, I'll just back up a little bit. Sorry if it's a repeat. The very important thing is that you get to set. So oftentimes the locations are outside of Calgary. In that case, you have to be able to get yourself to set. It's not very common when we say you have to get to set. You're not going to take an Uber. It's going to cost you like $100 to go like an hour outside of Calgary. We don't want you to think that there's transit that goes there. There's no transit. It's in the middle of a farmer's field. So when we share the opportunity with people, we really need to make sure that you guys can get to set so it doesn't stress me out, especially because we're already doing a lot of work, and to find a ride just adds an extra component that we don't need. So when you get on set, you're always taken care of very well by the wranglers. You'll check in, they'll tell you where to go for wardrobe, for makeup. They might say, go have some breakfast. Sometimes there's breakfast, sometimes there's not. We always get you to eat prior just in case there's no breakfast. There are snacks and drinks throughout the whole entire duration of time that you are on set though. So never fear, there's always something to go chow down on, and the crafty is always very good. you got to be careful of the candy. So there's always meals, there's always food all day long. If you are allergic to things, you simply let your agent know, they tell the production, and they can make a special meal for you. So everybody is very well taken care of once you get to set. When you're on set, you have to be quiet. You have to be respectful. There's no telling off-color jokes because somebody's going to be offended. Somebody's going to hear it. So you got to keep it clean on set. You got to just be quiet, respectful, follow the directions. All those kind of things mixed together make the agent as well as the production want you to come back on set. If you're kind of loud, going, telling loud jokes or just speaking loudly, you probably won't be asked back to set. Not that you've done anything super wrong, but being loud on set when they're trying to film is a problem. Those little microphones, they pick up everything all over the place. So you do have to be very quiet. Another important thing that an agent looks for when getting new people to their agency is honesty and integrity. We rely on that. That's how I run my business, with honesty and integrity. I expect the same back. You will always get it unless something happens. So it's always about being open and honest. Hey, if you're running late for set, Wendy, I slept in, I'll be there in 20 minutes. No problem. Thank you. Don't, just always be truthful. That's the best way to go. We can deal with that a lot better. Another thing is if you get selected for an audition, this is one of my pet peeves, and I'm sure the other talent agencies as well. When someone gets selected for an audition, we have taken the time to submit people to do this, whatever it is, the breakdown for a commercial or a speaking role, whatever it is. We took the time to share it with not our athletes, with our actors. The actors take the time, hopefully, to do the audition. When they do that, the casting directors are taking their time to watch their auditions, to do the selections. So when the chain breaks, when we do the submissions, those casting directors are always counting on those people to do their auditions. Why? Because they submitted for it. They were fully available at that time. So those casting directors like that person, they chose them, and then we might get a reply like, I didn't have time, or I forgot. Well, that's responsibility. So that's another aspect that a talent agency will always be looking at, is responsibility and taking action. And so what if it's a short turnaround? Too bad. It's the same for everyone else. This is the business. It's very quick, fast paced. You got to just roll with it. So we're always asking that people be respectful of other people's time, such as your talent agent or the casting director who might have selected you to do the audition. So that's another very important piece that an agent is looking for. So how does it all work? Everyone always asks, how does it work exactly? Well, an agent is kind of a go-between. So we have the casting directors from all over the world looking for people for specific roles. They come to us, the talent agents. They'll say, Wendy, we're looking for this demographic. I will share it with my clients, and hopefully they fit the demographic with, I'm talking age, ethnicity, all the different parameters that they might be looking for. So when these casting directors from around the world share these opportunities, they contact us. So it's kind of like they're up here, they contact us, and then the actors are underneath. Well, that's my communication with my actors, and every other agency does the same thing. They're contacted by these casting directors. They share, hopefully, with their actors the possibility of going out on that specific shoot. So when we share them, whether it's for a movie or a TV show or a commercial or a photo shoot or a voiceover, there's always a specific demographic they're looking for. And we'll always share that with you guys because we don't want the wrong people applying for a role that doesn't suit them. Some people try, but it doesn't go very far. So we just, again, have to make sure that when we do submit our clients, that they're actually ready to go. It's really hard on us if we submit you and then all of a sudden you go, I can't make it. Again, that goes back to doing the auditions. I can't do it. I don't have time. When we submit, we are trusting you with all my heart that you guys are going to make it to set, that you guys are going to do your audition. I have to trust. You have to trust me, and I have to trust you. It's reciprocal, and we have to rely on that trust to make sure that it works in every direction for every single person. So we all have things in our lives that go on, and sometimes you can't make it, and that's okay. I understand that. but it's a different reply if you just don't have time to do something. That makes the casting directors not feel very good about offering the opportunity. And so they get a little cheesed off when people don't do their auditions or don't show up for set. So we always have to make sure we do our very best to get there. Some people ask me, what's the difference between background and principal? So basically, both of them, all submissions are done with photos. So that goes back to what I said earlier about having a photo wearing something that's suitable to that role. Okay, if I'm looking for a businessman, businesswoman, business person, have something looking businessy. That's going to help sell you and get them to buy in, going, yeah, they look like a business person. Great. Okay, so that really helps when we do that. So for background and for principal actors, it's always based on photo first. They might look at the resumes afterwards for principal roles, but the very first thing is the bam of having a really nice photo to help sell you for those specific roles. That gets you in the door. If it's a tie, yeah, they'll look at the resume and kind of go from there. They might even look at union or non. I'm going to get into that in a minute, okay? But what we're looking for is, for background, it's always based on photos. Yep, he looks good as a cowboy. Great, let's book him. And then I'll come back and I'll confirm that actor for that specific background role. Always based on photos. For principal roles and actor roles, that's either one day or more. It's either an actor or principal. So that's, again, based on photos. So photos are given to these casting directors, presented. Hopefully you're wearing something that matches the role that we're submitting you for. They will look through those actors. They will select the people that they want to do an audition. So any actor or principal role will always involve an audition. A background actor does not. It's strictly from photos and it's done. For the principal and the actor roles, always an audition. If you are selected to do an audition, then you will be sent the sides or the lines. So then that is up to that person to get the lines. If you need a reader, which is someone to help you sound better, basically, it's always better to have another person. They're not on camera, they're off camera, but that voice helps carry you through the audition. It helps you react better to the situation of whatever the sides might have to say. So it's always better to have a reader than not. And it can be anybody. A male could be a female could be a male. It doesn't matter whose voice it is. Their job is to make you sound better. So the principal and the actor roles will always involve an audition. Sometimes they're lengthy. Sometimes it might be one word. It all depends on what the character is that you applied for, but there will always be an audition. I get asked, when am I going to hear back? When I hear back, you'll hear back. So we never know. If a production is hiring rather quickly, we'll find out pretty quickly who the selections are. However, if the submissions and the auditions are done like 6 months ahead of time, I might not hear anything for 5 months. So what I like to tell people is, you did your audition, put it on the back burner, you did the best that you can. Now, me as an agent, I always like to watch my clients' auditions first, give feedback to change things, and then present perhaps a better rounded audition. So I like to do that first because there are some specifics that are very helpful with an audition. We don't want, to see in your back behind you. We don't want to see your contents of your house. We don't want the dog barking. We don't want the baby crying. We don't want the TV on or the radio. There's very specifics that really help to make a good video, as my neighbor's dog barks. Anyway, so it's very important to have a nice quiet setting when you're doing an audition with no distractions. So you can really focus in on the character. And some people might feel a little silly when they're first doing this character. But the key, if you want to be an actor, is to get into that character or that role the best that you can. Even if it's only for 30 seconds or 1 minute, we need you to get into that character. It's so important to help sell you. And the more auditions you do, even if you don't land that role, the more auditions you do, the better you become at it and the easier they are. It's not as stressful. One of the stressors that people feel is, oh, I don't know what the casting director wants. Neither do I. You have no idea. We just want you to present the character to the best of what you feel. Now, since COVID, we used to always go inside, like to a live audition where you go in person. COVID came and then everything became online recording with your phone. which some people like and some people prefer the in-person ones. The in-person ones, what they like about it is they can give you feedback to change something at that exact moment, and you can present again another way. With the phone auditions, you don't have a choice. You're going to just do the best that you can. The way to get the feedback is obviously to give it to me or your agent, whoever it is, get them to watch it, give you some feedback so you can make adjustments and then present it the best that we can. So you got to kind of take away the stress of what does the casting director want? Maybe I should have done it that way. Maybe I should have done it that way. Don't think about that. Don't have that thought in your head. Your job is just to go out and present those lines the best that you feel it should be presented. And then that takes away a little bit of the stress. In addition to that, the lines don't actually have to be memorized. Lots of people like to memorize them, and that's great. But an issue might come if you say the word and instead of but, right? Now you've kind of messed it up. You kind of just got to keep going, but they're like, they said the wrong word, and they're going to notice that. Sometimes it can affect an audition and sometimes it doesn't. But the best way that I recommend to my clients is take away the stress also of having to memorize all those lines, because there's sometimes a lot of lines, and there's a lot. So when we do our auditions, we don't look in the camera like I'm doing right now. We look just to the side. So the little trick that you can do is simply post the lines beside the camera where you're looking, because we don't look in the camera. The TV actors don't look in the camera. It's only for a slate that we do that. But when we do our audition, that's when we look to the side of the camera, and you can post those lines. So you don't have to stress about memorizing paragraphs and paragraphs. Okay, it's a lot easier if you can read the lines as if you're talking to somebody. So that's a good little tip that I like to give to everyone out there across Canada or North America or wherever you are based. You never have to have them memorized. But one of the worst things that you can do is have the lines in your hand, and then you can see them, and then you're looking down and looking up. We don't want to do that, okay? Because then it's obvious you didn't memorize them, and you got to keep that sight line. So very important to keep the sight line when you're doing your auditions. Again, your agent, wherever you are based in Canada or North America, I'm sure they would love to give you the feedback because they want to present to you the best of you that you can give. All right, so that's one of the main things with the difference between background and principal. Another question I get asked all the time, well, I'm not a union member, I can't apply for that role. Of course you can. Anyone can apply for a role. When we have it listed that it's a union project, that just means the union approves it. Anyone can apply, union or non. So some people, more of my non-union people, they're like, well, I'm not union, I don't have the experience that they have, etc. It's not about necessarily having that experience, having those acting classes. That's not mandatory. It's, can you get into the character and present that character to the best of your abilities? That's all it is. I've had a couple of occasions where one guy, he was literally with me for 48 hours. I submitted him for a role. He got cast in it. Okay, he'd never been on set a day in his life. He got into that character. There are a lot of swear words, which I think he enjoyed doing, but that's besides the point. So it's about you having the trust in yourself and the confidence to bust out those lines, whatever they are. We will go for it. I know some agents are like, no, you got to go take this class and go take that class. I am my own agent. I believe that people can do what they're capable of. They may not know it yet, but with a little persuasion, a little more confidence, I think anyone can go for those principal roles and land it, because it is possible. You don't have to have years of experience. So union or non-union can go for those principal roles. So I get asked that quite a bit. So I hope that answers anybody's other questions. It's about portraying the actor to the best of your abilities. Now, I kind of brought up union. So that is one of the questions I get asked quite a bit. So a union member, how do you become a union member? Well, you can become a union member by, there's three different tiers. And AABP, Alberta Actor Background Performer, or wherever you are, whatever province you are in, they each have their own name for it. But basically, you're a background extra, but you're union. So you're an extra background performer. So you still are considered a union member for any submissions that you do. And those members, it's $30 in Alberta. I'm not sure what it is in the other provinces, but here in Alberta, it's $30 to join. What a deal. What happens is as soon as you become a union member, now the AABP level, the lowest level that you are, it's a bit gray because there's other people who rank above you. So you might not necessarily be guaranteed that union rate for the whole time that you're on there. You're union, but you're bottom of the barrel union. So you have the chance of getting pushed off the union rate. The great thing is, though, is that you can still go to set if you choose and just work at the non-union rate. So you're union, but if there's too many other unions who rank above you, then yes, you're at risk of not going to set for that union rate, but you can choose whether you want to go or not at the union rate or not. It's up to you. So that is one of the things, the levels. The next level is an apprentice. So you become an apprentice by getting cast as the lead in a union commercial or get cast with a speaking role in a union production. Those are usually all the big ones that you see on TV and at the movie theaters. So that's an apprentice. Now, you have to get 2 credits to stay an apprentice. So that means you have to get cast a second time with a speaking role again, or in a lead in a commercial. They're called heroes. So that will give you 2 credits. You're still an apprentice. The way to become a full union member is 3 credits. So you'd have to get cast again with a speaking role or in a commercial, if it's a union commercial, even as a silent on camera or an SOC, that can qualify in addition to the hero role if it's a union production. And that's a little bit more money. So the apprentice is $75 a year, I believe. You do have to pay these things yearly. If you stop paying, you're at risk of losing your membership, and then you got to start all over again. So with the AABP, I forgot to mention, you become that by getting 15 days on set within a year, within a calendar year from the day you apply. You can backdate it to 15 vouchers or 15 days on set. Then you can apply to become a background performer, a union one. Okay, so that's 15 days on set. Sounds easy. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. It depends on how your availability is to get out on set. So if you might get cast as, say, a town folk in something, you can probably go on for 4 or 5 months in a row. But if you get cast as like the security guard, you can only go back on that set as the security guard, which obviously is going to be less days. So do you want to be more featured, or do you want to get more days on set? Sometimes people sacrifice one show to go on as town folk, say, or a passerby or a drive-by to get those 15 days on set. So then they can still apply for principal roles in another show if they'd like. There's different ways to play the game. But basically the lower level, the lower tier as an extra performer for background is 15 days on set within a calendar year. The apprentice, that can be, so if you get cast with a role, you can become an apprentice right away. You don't have to. And this is I'll come back to this, but this just depends on the goals that you have in the business, because there's kind of 2 sides to this. But the full union member, so that's a little more hefty. That's $1,600 one-time fee. You do get more health care and health benefits, and insurance covers you, and money gets put away for later. But that also involves, I think it's $295 a year to maintain that credit. But as long as you keep paying that yearly fee, you'll be a union member for life. Same with all 3 levels. You don't even have to go on set a day ever again, but as long as you're paying those dues, you will still maintain your membership. So membership. So what are the benefits? Why would I become a union member? So first of all, a union member is going to get paid double. So here in Alberta, as well as across Canada, minimum rate for a background actor is $15.75 an hour. And then of course it goes up from there depending on what you're doing. A union member is going to make $32 an hour, minimum 8 hours paid. Plus you get mileage for going to set. So it kind of adds up a little bit more. So for $75, if you're an apprentice, it's worth it. For $30 as an extra background performer, yeah, it's worth it, because if you're on union that day, you're going to get all those other kickbacks. So it definitely pays off for $30. You're going to make that money back in one day. So I come back to your goals. So I want to bring this up because there's the movie business, and then there's kind of like the commercial business, and it's 2 different things. So there are more non-union commercials than there are union commercials, but the union members cannot do non-union commercials right now, and the non-union members cannot do the union commercials, union only commercials. So there's kind of a split between the two. So it depends on what your goals are and what you want to do. Do you want to be an actor? Then you go for it and you get that union credit because you don't really care so much about the commercials. But on the other hand, you know, if you're a kid and you're rocking and getting all these non-union commercials, you can decline the union membership. You don't have to do it. The only issue is if you decline union membership 3 times, now you're going to get in trouble from ACTRA because they're not very happy because they want you to join. So there is a bit of a fallout effect from not joining the union, meaning you're kind of paying more out on the other end. So that means that you kind of lose probably about half the pay if you're going to work after having given 3 opportunities to join the union and you turn it down and you turn it down and you turn it down, you kind of get penalized. But does it matter? If you're doing the commercials and you're doing it for fun, who cares? It doesn't matter. So you got to think about what your goals are in the industry. You want to be an actor, you got to try to get that union cred, because even as an ACTRA background performer, it gives you that street cred being a union member. So being a union member pretty much means you get first dibs at whatever there is out there. It could be background, principal roles, stand-ins, photo doubles. We have to have X number of union members on set per day. So being a union member helps contribute to your opportunities of getting first dibs at most things. If you don't care about the movie world and you just have fun doing the commercials, then stay non-union and just do more of the commercials and get paid $15.75 an hour for going out to set as a background actor. So it's really all just depends on what your personal goals are. And you should talk that over with your agent if you decide to go forward into this entertainment business and are looking for an agent. Sure, you talk to them about what your goals are so you can get that sorted out right at the beginning. Okay, there's never pressure to apply for a specific role or not. It's really based, at least how I work my business. There's no pressure. If you want to apply for it, we go for it. If you don't want to apply it, we don't go for it. If I really want you to, I might try to persuade you. You know what? This is actually a really good opportunity for you. So I might try to sweet talk you into doing that specific role if I think it's awesome. So the basics of it is it's still you, it's still your goals, and it's about what you want to accomplish. So I'm just going to back it up because I talked about the photos earlier and what kind of photos that we want. So very, very important that we present photos professionally. We don't want or need necessarily those professional photos, but they have to look professional. You can see the blank wall behind me. That's what we want. It doesn't matter what color the wall is. It just has to be a blank wall. We don't want photos, like I said before, with AI. Those are ridiculous. They're very obvious that they're done in AI. We do not want photos taken in cars. We do not want photos taken in bathrooms where I can see your toilet paper in your toilet. We don't want any of those. We don't want too much cleavage for the ladies. Contrary to popular belief, we just want people, normal, average people. No belly shirts. So we don't, I know it's popular nowadays, but we don't want the belly shirts on ladies or men. Thank you very much. So very basic photos, wearing something that helps sell you. And remember, please no AI, please no AI. Classes. I had mentioned classes very, very briefly, and I'm going to just talk about them again. Classes are never mandatory. They are there for specific people who might want to enhance their skills in the entertainment industry, whether it be with auditioning or going for those principal roles. There's different classes that are offered to people that you can take advantage of. Generally, I myself like to share classes with people who I know and who I trust in the industry. You can find so many classes online from some casting director in LA. They're never going to hire, or not a casting director, sorry, an actor or something in LA. That's nice. You're taking their class and you can put it on the resume, but they can't hire you for anything. It's always best to try to pick a local wherever you are in Canada or even in the States. Pick a local person who might be a casting director, who might be teaching classes. They could be, like I said, auditioning classes or more serious roles. Take a look, see what's out there. But I would say if you find some on your own, always talk to your agent first if you have one to see if it would actually be of benefit. it will be of benefit, but how much? So make sure you always talk to them first. So class is never mandatory, but for those who do want to improve their skill set, go for it. It is a write-off on your taxes as education. So every actor here, I don't know if you know it or not, or thinking of getting into it, you guys are self-employed. You receive a T4A at the end of the year. But remember, if you have an agent, you have to deduct that 15% and the 5% GST. If you have your own business, you can certainly run the payments through the business so you can get that GST back. So you can talk to your agent about that, or even your accountant if you have one. But everything you buy or use for set is a write-off. Your mileage to set is a write-off. Keep track. You go for a fitting, that mileage is written off. You travel an hour outside of Calgary, that mileage is a write-off. You got to keep track of all those kinds of things. Very, very important. Another important thing is keeping, when you have a resume, it depends on what site you're on. We definitely use a site called Breakdown Services. That's where pretty much all the casting directors use. There are a few other ones, but they cost money, and I'm going to come back to that. But Breakdown Services, most casting directors use those from out in the West. Out East, they tend to use Casting Workbook quite a bit. Unfortunately, that does cost money. I think it's $150 American a year. The bad thing about that is it's mostly American productions, and your agent should be sharing the opportunities with you. So you don't even need to have a profile on any other website except for the free one, which is Breakdown Services. Breakdown Services. So a casting director sends the agent the opportunities, and we submit using Breakdown Services. But the way it works is a casting director might not necessarily send it to you, Joe Public, with an opportunity, especially in Alberta. It's very rare they're going to send it to you. Even though you're on Breakdown Services or Actors Access, they're not going to send it to you. They're going to send it to the agents. And then it's our job to ensure you get the information, and we can submit you through Actors Access or Breakdown Services as soon as we possibly can. So you just got to be careful of the other websites that are out there. We have paid, so like I mentioned, Casting Workbook. Yeah, it's a good one, but it's $150. And those same opportunities are on Breakdown Services or Actors Access for free. So I suggest you don't pay for those. And then there are a whole bunch of other ones. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but you have to pay a monthly fee to join those ones. And really, it's mostly American, and you're paying $15 a month for something that you're really not even eligible to do. So that's kind of where some people go, well, I don't want to give an agent 15%, but you're willing to pay $25 a month to some random website where you're not going to get work because you can't work in the States without a work visa. So I just ask that all of you out there, and everyone makes, I'm going to call it a mistake, in spending money when you need less. Like, you don't have to spend any money. When you have an agent, we do all the work. That even goes to casting calls. So an open casting call, they are rare, but sometimes when we need large volume of people, a casting director might have an open casting call. When you have an agent, you don't have to go to those. Those are for Joe Public, who have to line up for 6, 7, 8 hours in the blistering hot sun to try to get on set. And they're going to go through the agents first anyway. So when you have an agent, like I said, we do all the work. We work super hard. I never sleep. You can ask any of my talent. I don't sleep. And it's about us working really hard as agencies across Canada to get you the best opportunities that you guys could possibly have anywhere around the world. So it's about a connection with your agent. You have to be able to communicate. You've got to be able to get a hold of them whenever you can. Yes, we are busy. I have 8 million texts I have not replied to. So sorry if any of you guys are on here. But generally a phone call, I can usually answer a phone call and a text with any questions. But at least I'm accessible pretty much 24/7. So having that communication is massive with an agent. Any questions? There's always so many different rumors that you hear on set. I've heard so many different things. Another rumor that I've heard is, I don't want to get known as a background actor. Who the heck would ever think that you're going to get known as a background actor? There's no such thing. That is just talk on set about, I don't even know what they're talking about, but there's no such thing. You don't get known to be a background actor. You can be a background actor and go for those principal roles. So we have so many different types of opportunities, like I said, all over the world, that it's really up to you and your availability and your desire to go out to do that. If you have a passport, for example, I send people to South Africa. It's all over the place. So there's so many different opportunities. For those of you, you will get more opportunities if you have an agent, because we have access. Tom Cruise's movie, thank you very much. Got someone booked on that one. Very exciting. Okay. Anywhere in the world. You don't have to pay an agent extra to be submitted for those out of province roles. That's not a thing. That doesn't sound very above board, if you ask me, right? An agent has access to everything in the world. Those sites, if you don't want an agent, those sites you go on that you're paying for monthly, you're really, really not eligible, or they might be volunteer. So you really got to do your homework. And that comes back to when you're looking for an agent in the business, you've got to do your homework. Check the actress sites, except for BC, because there's 8 million of them, but you can call around, get a feel for the different agents that are out there, see who you have a connection to, see when you can get a hold of them. Do they work 9 to 5 and not on weekends? That sounds fantastic. I'd like to do that one, but I don't. So it's about having that connection with an agent that you're looking for, no matter where you are, even if you're in the US or in Canada. So I'm going to swing it back now to those union members, where you get a little bit more fun stuff. A union member can work anywhere across Canada. They don't have to alienate you from going, because your union, you can work across Canada. In every single province, you do have to provide provincial ID proving you live in that province. Take away the word union and working in other provinces right now. Every province requires you to provide provincial ID proving you live there, because every production gets a tax credit for hiring a local. So why would we hire someone from Saskatchewan when that production is not going to get a tax credit? They're going to try to use locals so they get money back for using locals. Okay. Makes sense. Everyone understands that. That goes all the way across Canada. Okay. Provincials get first dibs, provincial people who live there get the first dibs. Now we throw in the union factor. Union can work across Canada without any worry of having to provide provincial ID proving you live there, because it doesn't matter, because you're union. You can work anywhere in Canada. On some occasions, yes, a union member can get cast in different provinces. They're overlooking that that tax credit that they're going to get, because that person is great for the role. So they're going to overlook that tax credit and still allow it. It's less often that a non-union member can work in Newfoundland, for example, than a union member. But they still could have that opportunity. If they can't find someone specific, they're going to open it up to those non-union members and allow them to work as well. So working in another province, another state, another country, all expenses are paid for anyone who travels out of country, out of province, out of state. Well, I don't know how the states work. I'm not going to mention that, but out of province here. So if you get cast for a gig in Toronto, all expenses are paid. Everything. If you're a child, the expenses are covered for the child as well as the guardian. If I'm flying you over to Scotland for Outlander, all expenses are paid. And you get a per diem for food, etc. However, if you want to do a gig in Edmonton, your expenses are not paid. So out of province or out of country, your expenses are always covered. Always, always, always. And I think another part of that is when you are submitting for these roles that are out of province and even out of country, if you get selected for those, you can see the importance of doing those auditions, because now we've got a Toronto casting director interested in you. We have a Croatian casting director interested in you. We have an American casting director. Like, we got to make sure we do those auditions. So we do have the ability. I'm going to flip over to the States. In working in the States, and other countries, if they offer the work visa. As a Canadian citizen, you can't just pop over and work in the States. It doesn't work like that. There's visas involved, and it's very difficult to get and costs a lot of money. So you can't just necessarily do it. However, if a production offers that work visa, I just had a kid go to New York and work with Mark Ruffalo, the Hulk guy. All expenses paid, no issues. It's no problem. I had a gal cast in NCIS in California. Again, no issues because they're covering the work visa. So myself, when I share the opportunities in different countries, it's because that work visa is covered. You have to have a work visa for any other country. So everyone says, oh, I'm willing to go anywhere. Well, that's great. But, or they might say, oh, I saw these roles on Actors Access in the States. And I'll be like, great. What's your house address? I need your American driver's license and I need your American social security number and we can talk. However, the only addendum to that is if you're an American, you're a dual citizen, then we can make something work. If you are a dual citizen, though, you're probably responsible for your own expenses to get down to the States because they think that you're living there. So there's always something different going on, different aspects coming in. But certainly, if I share an opportunity with my clients for anywhere in the world, the expenses are all covered. Absolutely. So the best advice that I can give to you guys in looking for an agent, wherever you are, is make some contacts, take a look, do the Google search, go ahead, check Google reviews. I've never read mine, but I'm sure I have some out there somewhere. I've never Googled myself either, but I'm sure I'm on Google. So check those agencies out, cross-reference with each province's list of approved talent agencies from ACTRA Canada, really ACTRA National. Have a chat, call those agencies, see what kind of feel you get from them. See what about their honesty. Are they making you pay a fee to join? Not good. That's the way to go. We literally do not make a cent until we get you on set. So keep that in mind when you're calling. It's about having fun in the business. It's not for everyone. Some people can't go to set and just sit there for 12 hours. They hate it. Fine, don't go back out again. But for a lot of people, it's a social thing. It's a cool, unique opportunity. You might get to meet some of the actors there, which is super awesome. And it's about connecting with others, having fun. Like I said before, I did it for fun. I didn't care about the money. It was worse money when I did it. Now we're up to a rockin' $15.75 an hour for background, but it can be quite fun and quite lucrative for some of those. So we had the last two Paw Patrol. I'm sure you guys have all heard of the movie Paw Patrol. The ones that were at the theater. Well, the last two voices of Ryder were with my agency. So there are a plethora of opportunities all around the world. You just got to find the right agent for you. So that's the best advice that I can give. And I hope you have been getting questions. I don't mind answering any of the questions that we have. I'm sure that they're going to let me know what they are. But feel free, ask any questions that you have. Thanks, everyone, for coming.
Thank you so much. That was a lot of information.
Bam.
I think there's a lot of people digesting this. Did you want to take a couple minute break just to get some
Sure.
water? Okay.
Yeah.
So how about we take about 3 to 4 minutes? We'll come back at 8:02 and we'll answer your questions. So get those questions into the, oh, here they come. There's lots of questions coming.
Okay.
And
I thought I covered everything.
You did, but I'm sure people want to know. And I also am going to post the feedback form in the chat. Please take a moment during the break to fill out our feedback form, get your questions in, and we'll be back at 8:02. Thanks so much. Okay, everybody, we're going to start again and get into the questions. Again, I'll just remind you if you have questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. If you're a little shy, you might be able to message me directly and I can ask it for you. So, the first question is I'm interested in working as an extra since it sounds super fun. However, I have dyed bright red hair. Is that an issue in getting me hired, or will there still be opportunities for me?
Okay, so one thing with our industry is anything that's distinctive or makes you stand out is a detriment. But because we want you to blend in. So this is the movie side, okay? Movies and TV shows. We always want you to blend in unless we're looking for a specific look. For example, Heartland, I'm sure everyone's heard of Heartland. It's very small towny, plaid shirts and small town looks. But one time we were pretending we were in Vancouver. And that day they're like, we want tattoos. We want that bright red hair. We want that purple hair. Because I guess Vancouver's way cooler than Calgary. I don't know. But anyway, so in that happenstance, yes, they did ask for it specifically. Generally, in the movie world, it's difficult to get those outstanding colors on set. However, photo shoots, they don't care at all. They like the unique looks. So that would be awesome for you. And payment for photo shoots can be pretty good, depending on which group that we're working with. But they don't mind the tattoos. They don't mind the bright colored hair. So totally fine. Commercials, touch and go on the brightness factor, but for sure photo shoots they don't mind at all. They like the unique characteristics.
Okay. The next question, I'm just want to make sure I say this right. I think it's actor CV info. Like, what kind of information do you have to have? Or it says actor CRV info, but I think they meant CV info.
What? Oh, like a resume?
Yeah,
Okay, so can you repeat the question? Sorry.
they just said actor CRV info, CV info. So, like, how do you put together an actor CV, or I guess what?
Okay, so an actor's resume.
Yeah.
So if you've never been on set before, it's difficult. However, if you've never been on set before, what you do is you simply have your name at the top. We never attach a photo to a resume because if you're applying for a specific role, that photo might not suit the role. So always have a resume and then a photo that matches that role or character. So on the resume, if you're just starting out, you're going to be putting your name. If you have an agent, you'll put the agency information underneath there. And then you simply put out all your sizes, height, weight, jacket, waist, bust, hips, inseam, shoe. Okay. The sizes are on there, always go on a resume. And then if you haven't been on set yet, you can put all your special skills. Special skills would be something that you can do and are willing to do on camera. So if you've never done hang gliding, but you put it down, they're going to think you're a professional hang glider. If you get booked for role, you got to go hang gliding. You don't even know what you're doing. So these are things that you're very good at and you can do on camera. So it could be riding a bike. You're going to get paid $40 an hour to ride a bike. It could be skiing. So you get $40 an hour to go skiing. That's a special skill. It could be handling a firearm. That's $40 an hour as well. So you can put that resume with the special skills. Now, if you have been on set before, you still put your name at the top. If you have an agent, you put it down there. You put all your sizes next, and then you break them up into the categories. A lot of people put film and television. Well, they're totally different things. So the television ranks higher than film. Television usually means union projects that are on TV, okay? Or at the big, like at Ghostbusters, that's a feature film. So feature film ranks higher than television, and then a film usually goes underneath television. It's still part of the industry, but they're usually non-union films that maybe state production or innate production, or your friend might make, or just a low budget kind of movie that's not a union production. That'll go under film. And then commercial actually has its own category as well. So someone who has that set experience would just put in their opportunities that they did, including the name of the show, the character that you played. We never use the word background or extra on a resume. You simply put the role that you played. And then if you know the production company or what channel it's going to be on TV, you can certainly put that on it as well.
Okay, that's great. Next question, sort of related. Do I need a demo reel?
No, you don't you do not need a demo reel. Demo reels can be quite expensive and not necessarily something that's suitable. The casting directors do not like homemade demo reels kind of thing. Like they don't really like you grabbing a paragraph and having you read it. They like to see what you've actually done. So if you can get any footage of you from a film, that's fine. If it's a non-union film, who cares? It's still footage. Any footage you've done on any of your shows or a commercial, etc., that's all an asset. Another sneaky way of trying to build a resume is if you've done an audition, you remove the slate off of it, but you can keep the audition piece. So if you're applying as a police officer, and you take off the, hi, my name is Wendy Lumby. I am represented by Faces of Wendy. I'm applying for the role of police officer. You take that off and you just keep the actions that you're doing as a police officer. And you can clip all of those together to make a nice little reel because you're actually playing different characters and showing different characters that you can do. So that's always an asset. So that's just a sneaky way of building a demo reel other than going and doing something that you find online, for example. So they like the more real stuff.
Can someone living in Edmonton apply to your agency?
Yes. So anyone can apply to my agency anywhere in Canada, even in the States. I do represent some Americans as well, but it's always better to try to find a local agent to your province. So Edmonton, yes. So as long as you don't mind the drive, Calgary area gets a lot more opportunities than the Edmonton area does. So if you don't mind driving, or if you have somewhere to stay down here, friends or family, then I would encourage that. I really hate people to have to do the drive and stay in a hotel. You're probably not making enough money to cover the hotel. It would be fun and a road trip, but yes, anyone from anywhere can apply for my agency.
Okay, how do we apply for
How do you apply? Well, generally, I like to speak to every single person before they join. So I don't know how the other agencies work, but I'll speak to mine personally. I like a phone call. I like to explain pretty much what I did today in a little shorter version on what we expect from each other and how I work with my agency. So I'll give you a little bit different information that I presented here to many of you. But on a one-on-one phone call, that's where you can talk to me, ask me any of the questions that you might have, and we'll go from there. I used to try to meet everybody, and unfortunately, we are really, really busy. So it's very difficult for me to take that time out of the day to meet these people, but I absolutely have no problem with a phone call, and you can ask any questions you like at any time, and I can explain the whole way that we work my agency specifically.
What should I say while reaching out to an agency for the first time?
Well, basically, you've heard what I missed one point. We don't really shoot on weekends. So for those of you who want to get into industry, this is a very, very important thing. You can't say you're available after 5. It doesn't work like that, right? Or you're available, from noon. It doesn't work like that. Most shoots are Monday to Fridays. Keep that in mind. So a lot of people have to take a day off of work. So flexibility in your life is very, very important, and willing to maybe earn a less rate than what you would have at your $50 an hour job. Okay, so you got to take these little components into your thought process on if you want to do the agency stuff. So it's rare we do a weekend. We might do an occasional Saturday, maybe a few times a week or a few times a year, but generally Monday to Friday, the actors take the weekends off. So keep that in mind. Are you willing to take that time off of work to go make $15 an hour, $15.75, right? It's up to you and your thought process. But a lot of people do it, like I said earlier, for the fun and the unique aspect of not a lot of people get to do this kind of thing. And not a lot of people think about doing this kind of thing. I stumbled into it and I had a blast. And now I started my own agency, which is crazy. But anyway, so it's about, what do you want to do? It is fun. It is exciting. It's cool. You meet people. So it's really, what are your objectives in getting out of an agency and getting out into the entertainment world?
So when reaching out to an agency, what should I say for the first time?
Oh, I missed all that. I got sidetracked. So basically, when you do call someone, obviously you're going to give them your name to start. But you're going to say, I'm interested in the industry. I know something about it. I know I have to be available during the week. Do you charge any fees? Yes or no? Do you want me to take any professional headshots or take any acting classes? See what they say, right? Because like I said earlier, you got to keep people above board. Usually they'll say, no, there's no fees, and no, you don't have to do any acting classes. Okay, that's the legit ones. The other ones might try to push you to do something. But again, you just got to cross-reference. Make sure if you're based in Alberta, make sure you're only calling the agencies that are listed on the Act Alberta website. I think there's about 7 of us. I haven't looked lately, but call them all. Get a feel for each of those different agencies. And don't be shy, right? Some people are nervous to call an agent. Don't be nervous. Just give a call. Hey, I'm interested in finding out more about the biz. And they can fill you in.
I have a question that came to me personally. Um, can you be represented by more than one agency?
Technically, no. And I'll stick with Alberta. The reason is we often go for the same opportunities. So what happens is the casting director will notice that Sue Smith got submitted by Faces of Wendy and somebody else. So now that casting director's like, who are they with? And then that person, Sue Smith, appears to be playing 2 agents. Well, I'll go to whoever gets me work. But what happens is the casting directors don't like that, and then they probably won't get any work. So you can only have 1 agent. So that is to avoid the crossover in a lot of different areas. Sometimes it's okay to have a modeling agent and a movie agent, but oftentimes, again, there's a crossover with commercials and photo shoots, and that can create some chaos, shall we say. So it's always best to stick to 1 agent. If it's not working out for you, you're not getting enough opportunities, you can leave at any time. There's no legal contract with an agent. It might appear that there is, and it might feel like you're signing something that's totally legal and you're stuck there for a year. However, that it's not true. It's just the appearance of forcing you to stay with 1 talent agent, and you're not allowed to work anywhere else ever. And that's wrong. So you can sign with an agent, but have the courtesy and the integrity to say, hey, you know what? It's not working out. Thanks very much. See ya. It's as easy as that.
Okay. This is a bit of a question that you might have already answered, but maybe you can speak to it again. I'm in Edmonton too, and I've heard that most work is in Calgary. Is that true?
Yes. Now I'm going to add on to that. Yes, it is. We get probably about 80% of everything. However, if you go back 2 summers ago, we filmed 5 movies in Edmonton. 5, and that is unheard of. So it's variable. Usually the bigger productions, they will come more in the Calgary area, mainly for the scenery and the small towns that we have. But we do have some of the smaller budget films that do film in Edmonton. So there are still opportunities there. And we do some commercials in Edmonton as well. So all is not lost if you live there and don't want to drive. You just got to wait until we share those Edmonton opportunities.
Okay. Next question is, don't know if this was answered or not. Should you have a lot of experience before looking for an agent, or can you get one with none little?
So that is a really good question. And I've seen it in a lot of different forums. No, you don't need any experience to have an agent. Some of the agencies might say, you have no experience, come back when you get union, or come back with whatever. That's their choice. But my agency, there's no experience necessary. And the reason is, how are you going to get experience if everyone says no to you? You're never going to get on a union set. You'll be stuck in, Facebook films for the rest of your life. So it's about, I like to give opportunities to people to get out there. Someone gave me an opportunity and I appreciate it. And it's about getting those opportunities to try it out and see. So if an agent shuts you down right away and says, sorry, you got to come back with acting classes, but you're just starting out, you don't want to pay $500, $1,000 for an acting class when you don't even know if you like it yet. So I encourage people, call those agencies, see which one works for you, see who'll give you those chances to get out there. Get out there. Maybe you're going to hate it. Like I said earlier, you can't sit there for 12 hours. You freaking hate it. You're going to love it. The other hand, right? It's so fun, and you just eat all day long and you talk and tell jokes. So it depends on the personality, but I would strongly suggest that you just call those people, see what the other agents say. My agency personally, yes, we are open to people who are just starting it.
Okay. The next question has 3 questions. One of
Oh,
which you answered already, which was, can you have more than one agent? So the second question is, do you recommend any acting classes?
so any acting classes I do, so it's variable. It depends on the ages of the people, if it's for kids or adults. Like I said earlier, there's auditioning classes. Well, that's learning how to audition properly, whether it be for commercial or for movie. And then we have actual acting classes. Maybe there's brand new ones for brand new people, as well as people who've been around a while and they're kind of above that level. Maybe there's a part two. So I do recommend acting classes only to those who are serious. I don't want people who are just beginning to take that acting class. I think it's a waste of money. Just don't do it. Wait until you get out there, see if you love it, see if you're willing to spend that money to go forward and take those acting classes. I do recommend for new people something called a set etiquette class. It's between 2 to 4 hours long. You learn all about the set from a casting director, and that casting director also hires for people from the set etiquette class. So you're getting double bang for your buck in that one. That's the only class I would recommend for the new people. If you've been around a long time, you don't need that class because you know how the lay of the land is. But for acting classes, I only recommend them to people who want to further their career and are serious about it. And in that case, I will share those specific teachers to teach those classes. Then I will share them.
The next question is, can you get jobs if you have an accent? I'm from Iran, moved to Calgary 3 years ago. I don't see much opportunity for myself because of the accent.
So you're talking about speaking roles then. So background acting all day long. We need every ethnicity every friggin' day. That's how busy we are here. You're talking about speaking roles. Yeah, it's tough to get an accent. If they want you to pull off an American accent, it could be tough to do that. However, we do have opportunities where you can speak your own language from whatever country the people are from. There can be opportunities for that. Sometimes if you speak English but have that accent, that's even okay. So there's just so many different types of speaking roles that we have out there. You just got to find one that fits you. But I would recommend, excuse me, coming out and getting on set, getting the hang of it first. It is, more difficult to land a speaking role with no set experience. My one guy did it, two people actually, but it's always better to get out there, experience, see if you enjoy it first, and then you can look around and see what else is out there for roles.
Okay. Somebody's asking, I submitted my photo to a casting agency, but never heard back. What do I need to do to get a call back?
So, first of all, make sure it didn't go to their junk. Follow up with a phone call. I know I get a lot of, if people attach a photo, it goes to my junk mail, and I don't check my junk mail. So if it was me, sorry, it's probably in my junk mail. But make sure, I would say, follow up with a phone call. Hi, my name is, I sent you an email with my photo. I'm just wondering if you received it. Okay, so sometimes if it didn't go to junk mail and she just got it in an email, or he or she, whatever, it could be buried. We're very busy industry, so it could have just gotten buried. So no harm in following up with that talent agent. Hi, my name is, I sent an email with my picture. Just wondering if you received it. So just be persistent. Don't just give up because one photo, it might have gone to her junk and she'll never look there. And then you go, oh, she didn't get back to me. It might not be that at all. So take the initiative, have that confidence, and just give them a phone call. And if it was me, call me tomorrow.
If you're successfully cast in 2 or more projects, is there a way to make sure the schedules don't overlap?
No, there's not. So our industry, we can have, so you're talking about, it could be background, it could be a speaking role, whatever. We get a schedule, which can be changed at any time. The weather can affect it. We've already had some weather changes earlier, snow, rain, those things can affect shoot dates. So what we do is we submit you guys, you get booked for this, great. Don't apply for one if it already overlaps that one, because you'll know your first booking date before you get the second booking date. The only issue might happen is if both directors come through and do their selections the same day, then there's an overlap. But usually what happens if you get booked for one and there's a possible overlap, we might be able to negotiate something, but generally for the second one, then we just say, sorry, not available.
Okay. Can special skills, like on your resume, include things like painting, crochet, craft type things?
Uh, yes, but what we got to look at is I've never been asked for any of those. Painting, yes. We did have some pretend painters on set. So the whole basis of looking for a special skills person is so they have the correct actions. So if they're painting, I'm not a painter, I'm probably doing it wrong, but the body positioning, all that kind of thing. That is why they want the special skills so that it looks like you know what you're doing. So crocheting, sure, that could be a special skill. We've never, oh wait, I lied. We did have one knitter on set and it was a special skill. So there is a variety. It just depends on what there are out there. But if you think about the special skills that you watch on TV, a lot of them are the firearms, or they're riding the bike, or they're playing hopscotch or hula hoop. All of those are special skills. It just depends if that specific project is looking for that specific special skill or not. But yeah, that would count as a special skill, sure.
How relevant is one's LinkedIn bio? Does it come into play at all in the casting process?
No,
That's nice and simple.
no. A casting director will never go outside of Actors Access to search a person up. They're not going to look on their Instagram. They're not going to look on their Facebook. They're not going to look on LinkedIn. It's nice that it's on there or whatever for your own self of awareness of promotion. However, talent casting director will really look at Actors Access. They might look at IMDb. If you guys know what IMDb is, there's a free version and a paid version. The free version, it might have even changed, but the free version is no pictures or anything. But anyone can make an IMDb account and add in any projects that they have done. And they're always checked. So on IMDb, if I applied and said I did The Last of Us, which I didn't, I casted people in it, but I didn't get anyone, I wasn't on it. If I lied on IMDb and said I was in The Last of Us, they can catch me because they actually look my name up in that production, find my voucher of the day I worked, and then they'll know if I worked or not. If they can't find me, that does not get approved. So yeah, it has to be legit things that you've actually done for it to show on IMDb. Sometimes the project might put you on the IMDb under their film, and that's fine too. But generally, anyone can make their own IMDb account.
Okay. If someone was wanting to leave their acting agent and join a different one, are they supposed to let the agent whom they want to leave know that they're leaving them, or can they just join the new agent?
So that goes back to the term I used with honesty and integrity. So it might not be working out with you for that agent. That's fine. But what you need to do is, yeah, you need to let them know, hi, thank you for everything you've done. I no longer need your representation. That's it. You don't have to say why. You don't have to see where you're going. You just have to send that nice little message so it's nice and clean and done. If that agent is on Actors Access and you remove them as an agent, they will get a notification. So you got to make sure you do it in order. Say thank you very much first, then you remove them. Because if you remove them first, they're going to go, what the heck? And then they'll get the email after. So do it in the right order. Thank you very much, email. Then you can remove them as rep on Actors Access. You can still transition over during that time to the new agent. That's no problem. As long as you take the integrity to let the other agency know.
Okay. Do you have voice actors on your roster?
Yes. So I don't know if that person heard me reference earlier to the there's different voiceover. So we had the two riders from Paw Patrol, that's voiceover. And yes, I have people involved in pretty much all the television commercials here and the radio announcements. So that's a different type of voiceover, but we do quite a few different cartoons as well, as if that's the forte that you're going for. But we also do a lot of radio and TV. Yes.
Okay, the next question is very directed to you. So I tried to call Wendy, but she was busy and told me to text. So I texted and haven't gotten a response. Do I wait for a response?
What's her name?
Lucas
What's
McLeod.
her name?
Lucas McLeod.
Lucas. Let me find you, Lucas. Oh, did you say your name? Lucas McLeod. I found you. Okay, I'm going to text you hi and then text me as soon as we're done talking, okay? I don't see any missed phone calls, but that's okay. So text me when we're done this thing. I found you. Next.
Are you able to expand on the practice of dressing for the role in a photo? I've been warned to avoid wearing white or black, as well as looking costumey. What are your thoughts about that?
Okay. So yeah, costumey just means you're doing too much. We only want you wearing something that lends itself to the role. Okay, so like I said earlier, a business person, put on a business jacket, right? Easy, you look like a business person. You want to be a badass biker, throw on a leather jacket, a black tank top, a black t-shirt. Okay, done. So the different roles, Heartland, it's always like a plaid shirt or a plain simple t-shirt of some kind. So yeah, avoiding black and white is one thing, but a biker, they always wear black. So who cares? Go for it. The different characters might have different things, like a cowboy, we're going to want that jeans. But people, if it's an old fashioned Western, a lot of people think the Calgary Stampede cowboy hat sells them for a cowboy. No, it doesn't. You look like you're going to the Stampede. So in that way, it's overboard throwing on a cowboy hat for an 1800s Western. That wasn't the look back then. So you just imagine if I saw this character on TV, what would they be wearing? And that's what I want you guys to wear. That's what's going to help sell you.
Okay. You said that it is not recommended to have more than one talent agent. But what if I want to have a talent agent who works in Calgary and the other one out of Calgary? Is it legal or okay to have more than one talent agent if they're both operating from different provinces and or countries?
Okay, so I'm going to dispel a little myth right now. You don't need another agent in another province. Okay, so I'm going to relate back to two different points. One, a union member. Any talent agent can submit any union member anywhere in the world. So you do not need another agent in Vancouver or Toronto or Manitoba. Why? Because a union member can work anywhere and that agent can submit that person, that union person anywhere in Canada. No problem. So you don't need a second agent. If you're a non-union person, you really don't need an agent in another province because they're going to ask you to provide provincial ID proving you live there. So it might seem cool seeing you have a Vancouver agent. Well, first of all, they have 10 million more people, and your chances of getting selected are 999 million chances less than what you would have here in Alberta. Yes, we have less productions. We also have way less people applying for all those roles. So your chances are higher here in the smaller provinces than trying to get an agent in another province. So where you have to provide provincial ID proving that you live there. So that's, like I said before, regarding the tax credit, it is difficult. It's not impossible. But if there's any background, they won't want you because of the tax credit for sure. A principal role, like I said, they might open it up to someone from another province, but in that case, your agent is still submitting you for it anyway. So no, it's not like it's illegal. It's just that there could also be a cross reference. So if I'm submitting my client for Vancouver, but this guy has a Vancouver agent, unfortunately, he doesn't have a Vancouver address on his breakdown. It's going to be an Alberta address. The casting director is going to see right away that he doesn't even live in Vancouver, and that can create a problem as well. So you just got to be very careful. But what I would suggest that person do is call their agent if they have one yet and get the facts, because a lot of the agents don't say, you can't work in there without provincial ID. I think I'm probably the only agent that actually tells the truth and says, you need provincial ID. So keep that in mind. If you are thinking of going that route, just make sure that you're okay paying your own expenses, and maybe you won't even get paid to go to Vancouver or wherever it is. So talk it over. If you have an agent, ask them. They should tell you straight up how it works. Ask the BC agent, hey, I live in Edmonton. What are my chances of getting selected for roles here in BC? And hopefully they're honest. So, yeah.
How important is existing social media presence to agents, casting directors?
Zero. Nobody looks, I've never looked at anybody's Instagram or anybody's Facebook. I'm too busy, and it doesn't reflect anything to do with the role I'm trying to submit you for. And I just don't have time, and it doesn't matter to me. So no agent will ever go searching your social media because it's irrelevant. What they're looking at is you applying for the role, making sure you're a good fit for that role, and doing their best to present you in the best way that they can so you can land that role. That's the role of an agent.
Can photos taken from your theater performances involving different characters on stage be used as headshots?
It depends on kind of what you're wearing in there. I'm going to go with theater pictures might be pretty caked on makeup-y stuff. I'm assuming that, but if you're dressed for a specific thing, it might help sell you for whatever that character or role is. It would really depend on what role it is that you're going for. So again, that could be a discussion that you have with a new agent or with your agent and just say, hey, would this photo work? And they'll tell you straight up, yes or no, right? It's pretty basic stuff. But usually we only want headshots to be waist and higher or belly button and higher, not bobblehead ones like from here, because this doesn't sell you for anything. This is just a head. I call it bobblehead photos. Doesn't sell you for anything. But if we can get them waist and higher or belly button and higher, your shirt, what I'm wearing, that's going to help sell you for whatever that role is. So back to the theater thing, it kind of just depends on what the character or role is, but I'd say talk it over with somebody first, whoever your agent or agent to be is.
If you are on the first tier of ACTRA, are you still allowed to apply for principal roles?
Of course. Yep, you bet. ACTRA is ACTRA. You can apply for anything. The difference is there's union members who cannot do non-union productions. There's some non-union members who cannot do union-only productions. But if there's a union production, anyone can apply, whether union or non-union. It just means the union approved that production.
I have an agent that just does background. Can I have a separate agent for lead supporting roles? I'm in Vancouver.
I was going to say, you are definitely in BC. So you guys in BC work differently. You have a background agent and you have a principal casting. So yeah, I know you guys have that different there. Here in Alberta, we're all the same, but over there, because there's quite a few that do the background as well as the principal, I would say go for having a principal agent in addition to the background one, because they're different things in BC, because there's so many different productions. Here in Alberta, it's all the same. We do principal and background. So yeah, characters is quite good in BC. I don't know what your resume is like, but they're highly rated out there.
Is it all right to wear a shirt with a mock neck, turtleneck type of neckline? Or would agents, casting directors prefer to see the neck and chest as well in the photo?
I guess it depends if you're a guy or a girl. So we don't want cleavage. That's not a seller. It's a total detriment. So no, we don't necessarily need the turtleneck, but again, it depends on the role. So if you're going to a wedding, you're not going to be wearing a turtleneck. If it's the middle of a summer and you're out, I don't know, in the playground, you're probably not wearing a turtleneck. So it just depends on the season of what we're shooting and what we're doing. If we need someone out hiking in the mountains, yeah, maybe the turtleneck might work, right? So again, that goes back to the role that you're playing, but we don't want big baggy hoodies or big coats or really bright colors or major designs. We're very boring. We don't want photos like this looking off into the sunset, right? We don't want photos of you guys sitting. We want them literally just standing against that wall, very plain, very simple. That's all they want. We don't need any dramatics.
Okay. How do you become a union member?
Sorry?
How do you become a union member?
So the one way is to work 15 days on set on a union production within a calendar year. So that's the lowest tier that you can get. It's called an Alberta ACTRA background performer. It's still a union member. You pay yearly fees for it, but you need 15 days on set within a year from when you apply. So you can backdate it a year. You can become an apprentice member by getting cast in one or two roles. You stay the same, you're still an apprentice. And the way to become a full union member is to get 3 speaking roles. So, but they don't have to be within a year. They can be spread out for your whole life. So the difference is the 15 days has to be within a year. The speaking role, if you get one today and one in 10 years, you're still an apprentice. If you get one 5 years later, you can be a full union. It doesn't, they just add up.
Okay. Does our theater performances count as experience?
To me, yes. Now that's actually a really good question, because there's a different component to this. Theater, for sure it does, because it's showing a type of entertainment experience. So I do encourage my people to put theater on there. I'm going to say it ranks lower than the other things, but if that's what you got, then it goes right at the top, and you can be proud of that because you are doing something. I would never do theater. It's too scary, but you can definitely put that on the resume. Now, if you're in theater long enough, I understand if you get X number of hours, you can actually qualify to be a union member, but it's a lot of hours. And I would have to look into that and research that a little more for you. But I know it's a lot of hours, but if you could become a union member by getting a ton of theater hours as well. And that makes you an apprentice.
Which leads into the next one. How much does it cost to apply for the apprentice tier of ACTRA?
$50 a year. Wait, is your apprentice 75 or 50? 75. Oh, you're full union. Was it 75 or was it 50? I can't remember. I think it was $75. I think it's $75 a year. The Alberta ACTRA background performer, that it was 50 and now it's dropped to 30. So the key is you got to pay those dues every year. If you forget, and they do send a reminder, but sometimes it goes to junk mail. Sometimes people just forget, they get busy, you lose it. And you don't want to lose it, especially if you want to be an actor, because you worked hard to get those credits. And it's not easy to become an apprentice or a full union member. It's some people go their whole career just wanting to say more coffee, sir. Like it's difficult to get. So once you get those, you do it, write it down in your day timer or your reminder to pay your dues on time, and you'll be a member for life, even if you don't go back on set ever again.
If you were cast in something that you don't feel was your best performance or that the project itself isn't the greatest quality, should you still list it as experience or would it affect your chances of getting selection poorly?
No, it absolutely will still go on your resume. You still did it, whether you like it or not. It doesn't matter. It's still building your resume. And in addition to that, a lot of people have been told, don't put background on your resume. Well, I have a problem with that. I don't know who is telling that, but we want to boost your resume. We want to build that resume as much as we can. So even if that person doesn't like their film, too bad, you did it. And it's good street cred. So it's going to go on your resume under film, I'm assuming. But the background, it still has to go on there. We're still trying to prove you're an acting actor. So if you left all the background off, and I'm trying to submit you for a principal role, they're going to go, he has no set experience, zero. I'm like, well, he didn't want to put it on because somebody told him not to. So yeah, we put that on there. But like I said earlier, we don't put the word background or extra. We just put the role that you played. So definitely that person, please put that film on your resume. Even if you hated it, it still goes on there.
Okay. How do you keep track of your roles for ACTRA?
Well, very easy. So what happens is when you work with my agency, we always give the pay stub. So the pay stub, and you get a voucher every time you go out on set on a union production, you are given a voucher. It's mostly online now, but you can still download it and save it. So some old school ones do give the paper copies. That kind of went away with COVID again. It changed a few things, but this is for background extra. You would get the 15 vouchers. Once you get your 15 vouchers, you just contact ACTRA, send them all in, and then you'll become a union member after you pay your $30. So that's for background. For the cast stuff, obviously there's a contract involved that you would be sent the contract as well.
Can we put documentary experience?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Again, that's another aspect of the entertainment industry for sure. And we actually do a large number of documentaries. So yeah, that would also go on the resume for sure.
Okay. So right now I don't have any questions in the queue. So if you have any other questions, please get them out there. People are saying thank you. I think the thing that I think is really surprising, and this crosses over to all the disciplines in the arts, is about sort of professionalism when dealing with people within the world of what you're in, which is like, you're looking at actors and background actors. Same with, artists looking to be in a gallery. There's a level of professionalism that you guys expect, that professionals in, that discipline expect. And I think it's really important that people remember, those sorts of things to get ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does go everywhere. Like your presentation on set, how did you treat the wardrobe girl? What if she's working on the next set? And what if she's working on the next set? And she tells that casting director she had a problem with you in wardrobe. It's a small community here. So professionalism is, of course, extremely important, as well as my clients representing me. I don't want to hear about any issues on set, right? So professionalism on both sides, from myself as well as for my actors. It's a two-way street. Respect honesty, integrity, like I said before, those go a long way in the industry.
Okay. So someone just asked, how often do you recommend someone to update their headshots on the Actors Access website? Should they update it every time they apply for a role?
Yes. Yeah. That is what's selling you. So some people go, oh, I've got my headshot on there. And I look and it's like 6 years old. It's like, you do not look, you might think you look like this, but you do not look like this. So it's very important to have those current photos. You can switch them out. If you're with an agent, now we have to actually remove a photo for you so you can upload a new one. If you don't have an agent, you can remove those photos at will at any time, but it's always best to remove the old photo, upload a new photo that's going to sell you best for sure. So if it's almost every time, go for it because it'll pay off in the other end.
Okay. People are saying that they'll be calling you tomorrow, so you might be quite busy.
Okay.
Just so you know. And do we have to make an account on breakdown services?
Okay. So breakdown services. So like I don't know when these people join me, but earlier I had said breakdown services is what we use. It's a totally free site. However, it's mostly American based. So you have to have, so some people try to avoid having the agent thing. Like I said before, unfortunately, they're missing out on pretty much everything that's in Alberta. Alberta casting directors only send to talent agents like myself. We still submit using Actors Access, but you will never find a breakdown for Heartland, for example, or The Last of Us, or any of those, because they don't send them to the public. They only send them to the agents. So we do use that site to submit. However, when you have an agent, we have to send you an invitation to join. You can make a site, but you're kind of lost in cyberspace until you're actually connected to an agent. You're just lost seeing all the American things that you can't do. So, and if you do get an agent, that agent has to send you an invitation to join. And you do have to click on that within two days or it expires.
Okay. Out of curiosity, just, from what you've said, what are some tips you could give people who are just trying to sort of break in and are going to be contacting you about how to make your life easier to help get them as many opportunities as possible?
Read my breakdowns and reply exactly how I ask. We have people replying how we ask and emailing and texting, and then they're phoning me to make sure they got my text and my email and the other email. And it's like, just do what we ask. Don't add on stuff. Just reply exactly how we ask, and we'll all get along just great. That makes the process much smoother and much quicker for us to do the submissions. When we can submit you guys quicker, your chances of getting selected are higher than if you answer me in a week. It's probably gone already. So very important to just reply exactly how we ask. Don't ask me any questions. Just answer how we ask, because that's what we need. So the other part is we never know the call times until the night before for all the shoots. So you just got to be completely free, no matter what. If it's a 5 a.m. call time, it's 5 a.m. Just expect it. It could be noon, it could be 2, who knows? But you just got to be free the whole entire day. So when we're submitting you, we are trusting that you guys are fully available for the whole entire day and into the evening. You could be on set for 12 hours. So if you're like, I got to go and feed the dog, well, you can't. You got to stay on set, or you could have just ruined the whole day and cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars because they're looking for the guy in the red shirt. So when you make the commitment, it's basically all day long.
Someone asked the question, can you approach your agent saying you want to work on a particular production?
Yes, you can. However, that agent should already be sharing the opportunities on that specific production. But if that person hasn't seen their agent, ask them if they're available for that production. Sure, they can. If it's an American production, yeah, probably don't bother asking because they don't want Canadians. We do a lot of opportunities in Vancouver, but there's some restrictions there, like we said earlier. However, there's no problem if a person asks their agent, that's no problem. And we'll probably tell them why they can't. Otherwise, we would share it. So there's always a reason why we don't share a breakdown. There's some reason in there why we're not, but no harm in asking.
Okay. Someone's asking, what is breakdown services? And if we're already with Faces of Wendy, how do we get the link for breakdown services?
If you're already with an agent, that agent should have emailed you the link to breakdown services. If you made your own profile, you're lost in cyberspace. You won't see anything that we have, and I can't submit you for anything because we're not connected. So if this person, excuse me, is with my agency, I ask that you give me a call after this is over, and I can help by sending you the link, because somewhere in the process, you missed the link part. So maybe it expired, so you just made a profile. I don't know, but I can help you if you're with my agency. Just call me when we're done this conversation.
That's great. Any last words, Wendy, before we wrap up?
I don't have any last words, but do feel free to call out with any questions. I have a few people going to be calling me tonight. So please, if you can, the ones that I didn't say to call me tonight, if you guys can call me tomorrow, that would be great, because I'm probably going to be busy this evening. I got to get back to work again and do some more submissions. So tomorrow is great, except for those couple of people that I told to call me. But I do thank you all for taking the time out of your night, especially 2 hours. Sorry. But it's important that you guys learn the truth and the facts about how agencies do work. So knowledge is power. And if I can help anyone here not get ripped off, then I'm very happy that even if you don't join my agency, at least you have some knowledge in how the industry works. And I appreciate you guys all coming tonight.
Thank you so much. This was like a wealth of knowledge, and it feels like you pulled the curtain back a little bit for us that, didn't have any idea. So it was really informative. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Have a great night.
Thanks,
Bye, everybody.
Great. Good night.
And if anyone's still here, I'm just going to link the feedback form again, just in case that anyone still wants to, and I'll also send it out as a wrap up afterwards. But if you want to fill out that feedback form for us, that'd be really appreciative. And that would be great. Jill, do you remember me going through sort of like the cleanup I do at the end? It's okay if you don't.
Not exactly, no.
Okay.
I'm not sure what all you do.
That's okay.
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 Okay. Oh,
almost.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay.
Now it's just
Wendy,
us.
thank you so much. I had sent you a the agreement, the speaking agreement. I'm so sorry. And it was an attachment. It probably went to your spam. It sounds like you get inundated with
You have no
emails.
idea. I've literally got 4,200 unread texts. I can't keep up. It's horrific. But I can usually answer a phone call. It's the texts that get buried and buried and buried.
Yeah.
I can't even keep up. I feel so bad.
No, I think it's just the nature of what you do, like I think people have to be understanding. But okay, so if I send it to you through email, yeah, that would be awesome. Okay.
No problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just not that I just want to make sure that you get paid. Yeah, thank you so much. And
I appreciate everything.
So. It was great.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye. Now I've got to figure out how to turn it off.
Oh, I'll kick you out if you need. Okay. Have a good night, Wendy.
Hey, turn me off. Turn me off.
Okay, just us.
Hey.
I thought that was great.
Was
somebody? Oh, that's Karen.
Yeah. Hi there.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't recognize you.
Yeah.
She was fantastic.
She was really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who found her?
Marianne.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I've worked, Ears, we've had a couple people who were actually on her roster.
Oh, okay.
That I've spoken to. So I was like, oh, I didn't even know about her. And they sang praises of her.
Nice. Yeah. She was really good.
She really sounds like she does a lot for her people. So
Yeah.
awesome.
Wonderful. Great job, everyone.
Yeah. Cool.
Was any of the new board on tonight?
No.
I don't think so, no.
I didn't see any names I recognize, but
No, but we did get a new, we have another Suzanne who has stepped into the role of vice president.
yeah.
We have Umu, Theodora. She goes by Umu. Umu, is that correct, Marianne?
Omo.
Omo, pardon me. I will get that straightened out by Monday. She's director at large. And we've got Ravina, who is a new treasurer. Unfortunately, both people that were interested in the secretary position have withdrawn their applications.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
So some steps forward, some back, but we will continue. And believe it or not, we're still getting applications.
Cool.
Well, that's
So.
good.
Yep.
Excellent.
I'm super excited about the award. Unfortunately, we did not win, but it's an honor to be nominated.
Yes.
And what a lovely letter from the mayor.
Yeah, that's great.
So one of these days, I'd like to talk with you, Suzanne, to figure out kind of the best way to turn that into a fundraising drive, promote it for our birthday, even though our birthday is technically in June. Marianne and I just can't take on any more in June with 2 board meetings, an umbrella talk. There's been some other meetings.
There's a grant.
There's a grant due.
Our provincial and federal returns are due.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I leave the country on the 25th. So,
Gotcha.
yeah. So,
Where are you going, Karen?
I'm going to Denver.
Oh, for how long?
A week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I remember that now. Okay. Awesome.
Yes. I'm going to go back and get grounded